Hey, what's up? My name is Rodney Cooper. I'm the host of Locker Room Talk with Coop. I got another great guest that's coming in for you guys. I got my guy, my bro, Donnie Lee Jr. Coming out of high school, he's a two-sport athlete. He was a track and football star, and he decided on playing for the University of Alabama from 2014 to 2017. Me and Donnie, we had a great conversation as far as his senior year when he was playing at the top of his game. He ended up tearing his ACL, and he talked about as far as how he went through that process, as well as he talks about as far as the things he learned from Saban that he's now applying in business and in life, and he's excelling in that. So it's definitely a great conversation, and I hope you guys like it. So make sure that you guys like, comment, share this video with someone that you think will enjoy it, and also hit that red button or those red letters that says subscribe for your boy. And I hope you guys enjoy the show. So let's get it. So I got my guy Donnie Lee Jr. What's up, bro? Welcome to the show.
What's up, big cuz?
Oh, not much, man. So let's jump right into it. So on each episode, I talk about as far as the three things I want to focus on, which is to entertain, inspire, and inform the people. So take me back as far as you being a kid from Northport, Alabama, playing at Tuscaloosa County up until the point you decided to play for the University of Alabama.
Yeah, man. I grew up in Northport, but my family's from Hatchettabby. You're probably the only person in the
Oh,
world that
for
knows where Hatchettabby, Alabama
I
is.
did not know that, bro. Okay, yeah, okay,
Yes,
yeah,
sir. Yes,
yeah,
sir. Yes,
yeah.
sir. My granddaddy went to Russell County.
That's what's
So
up.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. But military brat, bro. So we moved a
Okay,
good bit. Was born at Fort Benning, so we
Fort
moved
Benning.
around a lot, man.
Yeah,
But was always big Alabama fans. Senior year of high school, I had a couple offers in track, and
yeah.
decided to go to the University of Florida to run track and play football. And then
Okay,
my mom got a little sick, so we ended up coming back home just to be closer to her,
right.
and then win a couple of national championships during the
Okay, right,
process.
right. Yeah, yeah. I got you. So who was the person that put the football in your hands? Was it somebody, or you just gravitated towards it?
So I started playing ball when I was 4 years old. My
Okay,
dad put the ball in my hand, man, and it's kind of been over with ever since. I had an older cousin. He played football at Florida State.
yeah.
Played in the NFL for a while, amply, and then he won a ring as well with the 49ers. So man, I'm sorry, excuse me, with the Rams.
Oh,
So just watching him, a lot of the people in my family, I'm probably the least athletic person in
really?
my family. Saban Lee, he's hooping for the Pistons now.
Yeah.
Trent Forrest with Florida State, and then
Yeah.
Rodney Cooper was getting buckets. My mama told her we were back in
Oh,
the
yeah,
day,
yeah,
so it
yeah.
makes
Right.
sense.
Thanks. So I know with a lot of people, I know as far as for me, it was like a transition period as far as going from high school to playing D1 at Bama and stuff like that. So what was the biggest challenge for you going from high school to playing at Bama?
Man, honestly, I think just going to high school here in Tuscaloosa
Yeah.
kind of made it a really peculiar situation because it's like, man, I was at home, but I was in a world away from home at the same time.
Right.
But I say one of my biggest challenges was, man, just trying to, I wanted to be a good, consistent friend to the guys that I grew up with, but like
Right.
schedule conflicts, man. You know how it is. Coach Grant has
Yeah.
y'all going crazy, bro,
Thanks.
all
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah. Yeah. He a military
Time,
sergeant. Yeah.
right, right,
Yeah.
right. A real
Yeah.
drill
Yeah.
sergeant,
Right.
man. A real
it's
drill sergeant.
it's crazy. So I know as far as I watched the video that you put up talking about Devonta Smith. So share that story, with the people if they don't know that story that you with that experience you had with him. And shout out to him too for winning Heisman this year. But share that story with the
Man,
people.
he's a dog, man.
Yeah.
Smitty's a special talent, man. Just
Yeah.
kind of like how you said in one of your previous podcasts with J. Cole, he was one of those guys that just came in as a true freshman and they weren't
Right.
afraid of anything.
Right.
So ironically, Smitty was my backup for just a couple of weeks. That did not last very long, man. I'll never forget. He came out during fall camp, didn't drop anything. I mean, wouldn't it didn't make any sense, man. Like I'd go back and I'd watch the tape, and it was just awe inspiring, man. Just a kid that doesn't really speak much. Everything
Yeah.
kind of takes care of itself in between the box, man. Like he doesn't
Hmm.
say too many words. But man, what he's been able to do this past year,
Yeah.
it's unprecedented to say the least, man. So congratulations to him, man. I'm looking forward to see where he goes next week.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So I talk about all the time as far as, the fans, they just only see like the 11 players that's on the field, but I always talk about like it's some dogs on the sideline that just wait for their
Right.
opportunity. Because I was talking
Right.
about in the second episode with Christian Jones, I was saying how, Amari Cooper didn't play half of a season because, DeAndre White, he was the guy. And then he injured his
Exactly.
knee, and then Amari come out and half of the season he have 1,000+ yard season, which is crazy. So I tell him
Dang.
like it's always at least 2 to like 3 NFL players like each position, which is crazy.
100%. And some of them you'll never even see them,
You'll
man.
never even
They'll
see
come
him.
wash away, unfortunately. But there's definitely some dogs just sitting.
Right.
I mean, even from basketball, you look at Law Dog, man.
Yeah,
That brother,
right.
you walk in the gym anywhere and get a bucket with ease,
He's
man.
cold.
Like
Yeah, right. Facts.
too
Facts.
cold, man. So, man, I think there's a lot of hidden talent, man,
Mhm,
at the university, man. That just speaks volumes to their ability as recruiters.
mhm.
Just the depth that they have in all sports, man.
Right, right. I got you. So as far as with Saban, man, like I talk about all the time as far as the qualities and traits that he have and the reason why, in my opinion, he's the GOAT of college football, period. But as far as with me, like the thing just looking from afar, I see as far as the thing that stands out to me as far as, the attention to detail he has and the standard that he not only holds you guys to, but also holds himself to. So
Right.
so talk a little bit about that as far as like what you learned from him that you're applying now in business and in life.
For sure. I mean, more than anything, as proverbial as it may be, and it kind of
Mhm.
reaches a point of redundancy, but the process, man, like
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
right.
how methodical he is about everything. So, transferred over to the business world, I'm recognizing that a lot of the things that he taught us, man, it's applicable to life, not just sport.
Mhm.
So just in terms of being methodical, being disciplined, man, focusing on the process, and just not paying attention to the scoreboard, right? Like
Right.
you can't hoop for 4 quarters or 2 halves in college looking at the scoreboard the whole time. You
Facts.
can't play a football game for 4 quarters looking at the scoreboard, and you can't survive as a businessman looking
Right.
at your profit or your losses through the 3 quarters. So I mean,
Mhm.
excuse me, through the 4 quarters. So yeah, man, he's helped me significantly just in terms of my ideology. How I look at setbacks. Sometimes there's been some things that I've learned the hard way in business that
Right.
there's no way I could have expected it to come, but just having that ability to make an audible and control
Mhm.
what you can control.
Right.
I give a lot of credit to that to Coach Saban.
Right. Got you. So I know as far as the thing that like you was talking about, like he always talk about is like the process, and it's crazy. It seems like all you guys say the same thing. So I know it's something that he's constantly instilling
We've been
into you guys.
brainwashed.
Yeah,
We've been
brainwash.
brainwashed.
Right, but now like that's true though, because the thing is like so many people they put the goal out there and they just focus on the goal, but you got to take it day by day as far as the things you got to do each day to be able to get to that goal. So you always got to put the goal out there and reverse engineer on what you need to do
Facts.
to get to that goal. So
Facts.
so as far as like what Saban story that you got that you can share with the people that the fans don't know about, because I know Christian Jones told a story. I don't know what year it was that we won the national championship. But he said it was 2 days afterwards, after the national championship game, they was in a meeting, and Saban had got pissed off about something. And he said, This not last year's championship. And it was two
It don't
days
count no
after they
more.
won the national championship, not a big game, the national championship, which is crazy. So that just goes to like how much of a forward thinker he is. So what Saban story you can share with the people?
Man, so my last spring ball, so it would have been circa 2017.
Hmm.
I was second on the team in receptions behind Calvin, and
Okay.
I was kind of feeling myself. I'm like, man, I'm finna play this year,
Right,
dog.
right,
Like
right, right.
I'm finna get some burn, man.
Right.
I didn't have too many drops through spring camp, man. I had scored in all the scrimmages, had a couple
Yeah.
plays in A-Day, so like I'm
Yeah.
in the clouds,
You
man.
lit.
Like
Right.
I'm lit. You
Yeah,
feel me?
right,
And
yeah.
so I got a meeting with Coach Saban, our end of spring ball
Yeah.
conclusion meeting, and I'm sitting there like I talked to OJ Howard before I went in. I talked to Marlon Humphrey before I went in, and I was like, man, what do I expect? What are we gonna be talking about? And
Yeah.
they're like, man, you never know. And so I walk in and I'm expecting Coach Saban to just go through a myriad of praises about how great I am and how good of a job I
Yeah.
did during spring ball.
Right.
And man, I walk in there and he starts off, he's like, Donnie Lee said, you seem like a guy that really has fun when he plays football, man. You play the game with a lot of passion. You were very productive through spring ball. Uh, but you had 4 absences in your classes last month. And I'm sitting over here and I'm
Yeah.
like, there's no way that I just
Yeah.
I just put up these numbers during spring ball
Right.
And all this man is gonna talk to me about is school. And then
Yeah.
he hit me with this when he said, I know you're from Northport and your mom's not too far away. Maybe I should ask her why you haven't been going to school. Cool. I'm
Hey.
I'm 20, I'm 22 years old, 21
Yeah.
years old with a
Yeah.
daughter. I'm like, and this
Yeah.
man, he just told me he's finna call my mama on me,
Right.
bro.
Right. And my
Right.
dudes ain't gonna play.
And my Dukes ain't gonna
Yeah.
shoot from Hatchet Chevy. You know what time
Yeah.
it
I
is.
already know. I'm
You know what
already.
time it is. You gonna
I'm
tell me to go
already
get the
here.
switch in
Yeah. Yeah.
21.
Yeah.
But bro, that just kind of explained to me and gave me a lot of clarity in terms of his
Mm.
perspective on life and on progress and on always moving forward, man. Like just like
Right.
you said with CJ, man, they just won the Natty. 2 days later, man, he's already that 24-hour rule is real, man. So
Yeah.
it's not about what you've done in the past. It's about, man, what can you do to continue to sustain that success? Because
Right.
I mean, we wouldn't be talking about Coach Saban right now if he only won that one national championship back with John Parker Wilson, right? He would be just any
Right.
other coach. But the fact that he's sustained that success over a long period of time,
Hmm.
I think that's what separates him from a lot of other coaches. And that's what I learned from him in that meeting that day. That what you did yesterday no longer matters, man. You
Right.
gotta keep growing on a daily basis.
Right. And it's definitely hard like to only win like one national championship, but as far as like what he's doing on a consistent basis, and I was joking with somebody the other day. I said, man, if these guys lose one game, the fans make it seem like it's the end of the world, like they crying and everything. I
The
said it's
sky is
crazy.
falling.
It's
The
skies falling.
sky is
It's
falling.
crazy. So I said I could just only imagine like that's crazy. But anyway, so that was actually a funny story that you was about to call your mama on you. But so what other funny memories that you could think of, like either on or off the field, that you could share with the people without, getting somebody in trouble, So
That's that's
yeah.
that's that's the tough one, man. That's the tough one. But
Right.
man, honestly, I think just being around Coach Saban on a daily basis, man, just uh, I didn't realize it necessarily in the moment, but in retrospect, just the things that he does that might seem trivial while you're in school, like the
Yeah.
man wears the same five sweater vest and polos every
That's a
single
fact.
day.
That's a fact. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's insane. And so when I studied other leaders like Jeff Bezos from Amazon or Travis Kalanick
I
from
know what you're
Uber,
gonna say. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they all do the same thing.
Right.
Steve Jobs, exact same way, man. They wear
Right.
the same because it's like this decision paradox, right? So they're
Yeah.
like, if I can go ahead and eliminate this one choice in the morning, then I
Mhm.
can focus on productivity in other fields. So I've always thought that was the funniest thing about him is how like the emphasis on routine. Like he has to
Yeah.
have his Debbie cake. He's gonna pull up to the facility at the
Man, I
exact
didn't
same
know
time
that.
every
Yeah, yeah.
right? Like just the little things and the fact that he's gonna wear those same sweater vests, the same hat to practice, the same
Yeah.
khaki shorts every single day, man. I just found
Yeah.
that was always so funny to me.
That's crazy because I didn't know he was wearing those same outfits. Like I didn't know that. But it's crazy. Mark Zuckerberg do the same thing. Like they all talk
Exact
about
same,
that. Like they don't want to waste their energy deciding on what they need to wear. They could put their energy
exactly.
to something else. But I know as far as with Travis Kelsey, like he played tight end with the Kansas City Chiefs for the people that
Right,
don't know. But he's always talking about as far as making sure you have like a routine for success. So like
right.
a lot of guys that is currently playing or not playing anymore. I talk about it all the time as far as us as athletes and the game of sports, how it correlates to life. Like we already had a blueprint, like it's the same principles that you can put
Yeah,
in whatever you want to do outside of sports. It's just that it just as a different game. So
facts,
so I mean
facts.
if we just pay attention to that, like we could accomplish whatever we want to do in any lane. So,
You already
so
doing it. You
yeah,
already
thanks. We
doing it.
already doing it. Thanks. So I saw you put a post up on Facebook and I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it right now. And I love my boys using their platform to inspire and impact people. So the post you put up, let me find it. Okay, here we go. You said last time I was here, I was so for the people that can't see the post. He was in the skybox. He was looking out on the field, and my guy said, last time I was here, I was laying on the field, holding my knee in excruciating pain after tearing my ACL at the beginning of my senior season, asking God why. 4 years later, I understand, dear God, thank you. So I thought that was dope. So as far as like, talk a little bit about that as far as with that post and what you meant with that, and also talk about as far as I read a little bit about as far as your senior season, like you saying doing all you doing your thing, you end up tearing your ACL. You know where your mind was at, because I know as far as with me when I tore my wrist up overseas, I was in a dark space. So talk a little bit about that.
Right, man.
Yeah.
Like you said, man, like unfortunately as athletes, we sometimes over identify with our craft, right? Like,
Right.
man, everything that we're known for is our sport, right? Like
Right.
you go to Russell County right now, man, the first thing people think about when they hear Rodney Cooper, oh, that's a walking bucket. He put
Mm-hmm.
up 56 in a game back in high
Facts.
school,
Yeah.
right?
Facts. Yeah.
And that becomes who we are, man. And
Right.
man, I had one of my mentors tell me, he's like, man, football is a great sport, but a terrible God. So you have
Mm.
to be mindful of what you praise. And
Right.
man, that football was my church. I was there
Mm.
7 days out the week.
Yeah.
I studied my playbook way more than I studied my Bible.
Right.
My relationship, I was far more concerned with my relationship with Coach Saban than I was concerned with my relationship with Christ.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
our God he's a very jealous God,
Facts.
and he'll realign you whenever he feels like you're drifting. And
Mm-hmm.
again, we all have 2020 vision in retrospect, but I just remember being there. It was August 19th, 2017, and I had all these thoughts about like, man, if I just execute this year, I can buy my mom this house that I
Facts.
promised her for all these
Yeah.
years. And buy my mom this car. I can do this for her, and obviously I got a daughter too, so I mean, just wanting to provide for her, and so kind of having that snatched away from me right before
Mm-hmm.
my senior season was just very acute, to say
Yeah.
the least. Man, it was the physical pain was excruciating, but the emotional pain was unrivaled. Man, it was probably the hardest thing that I feel like I've ever been through in my life.
Right.
And so obviously, about that was August 19th, and then October 19th, I ended up getting arrested, got kicked off the team,
Yeah.
and so it was just a terrible landslide, man. I just felt like I went from the pinnacle, at the top of the top, controlling what I could control, and then in a matter of months, everything just kind of seemed to crumble.
Right.
And I went through 4 years, man, just walking through the storm and just trusting, like, hey, man,
Yeah.
like there's something in this. I can learn from that mistake, and now I'm trying to emphasize teaching from that mistake. And then
Mm-hmm.
with injuries, like you said, that's one thing that we can't control. So it kind of puts me in a unique position, because that's something that 99.9% of athletes have to deal with, is some type of
Right.
injury, right? And
Facts.
so being able to take that experience and use that to guide some of this younger generation, man, this next group of guys that are going to be getting ready to play college ball, to ensure that they don't make the same mistakes I made.
Right.
Uh, I think it's God is one heck of an author, to say the least.
For sure. And what's dope about it, so basically like the summarize everything that you just said, you pretty much turning your pain into your purpose. So
Right,
yeah, so I know as far as the thing is, like, even though like you went through that, like a lot of people they try to bottle that up and don't really share it. And what's so dope
right,
about it is that you sharing your story with other people. So I know as far as with me, when I went through that dark space, like when I had injured my wrist overseas, I had these big contracts lined up after like I was playing at the top of my game. I had these
right.
contracts lined up, and in a matter of 2 weeks, I tear my wrist up. So
Boom.
what I did was, I was trying to be strong, trying to hold it in, not reveal it, to like not talk about what I'm going through at the moment. Like I'm trying to be this
Right.
small guy, like this strong guy, but smile on the outside but hurt on the inside.
You
So
feel
the
me?
thing is, like, I had to learn the hard way, but the thing is, like, once you reveal, that's when you heal. And and
Amen.
and that and that's the
Amen.
thing though, like I had to learn it the hard way because I always been taught like you can't really express yourself to people. It comes off of being, weak and soft and stuff like that. But
Right.
that's
The
not really
toxic
the thing.
masculinity.
Yeah, right. Facts. But the thing is, when you reveal those different things, not only are you healing yourself, but you also helping other people along the way. And I know as far as what you were saying, as far as with you getting arrested, things like that, or whatever. So also what I want to share with people, I was having a conversation with a guy the other day. I was telling him, I was like, it's crazy that when we go through like certain things, that's when we try to like to pray to the big God. But the thing
Right.
is, they talk about you got to stay even keel. So as humans, like when we at the top of the top, we feel like we're doing it all on our own, but it's really blessings for him. But we hit
Oh
rock
God.
bottom, we try to go to him, and
Right.
the whole time at the high and the low, he's been with us he's been with us the whole
The
time,
whole
and like you
time.
said, he's a
The
jealous
whole
guy.
time.
So the thing is, like
Right.
all he wants that relationship with you. So I highly encourage people to like to really dive deep into that for sure. So I know as far as like a post that you also put up on, you put the scripture Genesis chapter 50 verse 20, on a lot of your
Uh,
posts. So talk a little bit about that as far as like what that verse mean to you and like and why you put it with your post.
right, right. So Genesis 50:20 for those that don't know, man, it just says, uh, what the devil meant for evil, God meant for good. What is
Mhm.
currently happening, the saving of many lives.
Yeah.
And so man, that was a verse that I stumbled across. I say stumbled across, but I know for a fact God put it in my path.
Right.
Uh, shortly after I tore my ACL, and then it just kept popping up again right after the arrest, man,
Right.
and it just stuck with me, man. I was like, this is obviously a bad situation from the ACL to the arrest. Like these are two terrible situations.
Right.
A lot of this is out of my control.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't know. I really don't know what to do. I don't know who to go to about it. Like you said, man, like
Right.
we're kind of looked at as neighborhood heroes in our hometown. So showing
Facts.
any form of weakness or things like that is looked down upon. And I think that's something that's ubiquitous amongst men in general, man, with
Right.
just toxic masculinity in general. But Genesis 50:20 has just always been something that I could go to just to keep me pushing, saying that, hey, man, like this might have been a terrible event,
Right.
but God has the ability. He's an amazing alchemist, right? He can
Right.
turn anything gold. He can turn anything into a positive situation. And man, honestly, because like even just sitting back in this moment now and just realizing what He's done with my life and how He's used me and used my shortcomings and my mistakes and
Right.
found a way to make it beneficial for other people, man. Like it's crazy, dog. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
couldn't give you any historical facts as to how God's real, but I can only tell my testimony, and it's hard to debate with
Right.
that, man. He's
Facts. So it's crazy because I was just about to say that as far as like all you're doing is sharing your testimony, your message, and it's no coincidence that the first four letters in testimony and message is test and miss.
you
So
feel me,
yeah, so
feel me,
the thing is, we all have a story to tell, but like I always say, it's just the people who have the courage to tell their story. Because
amen.
because also I can't remember what book I was reading this in, but it was pretty much a long story short. He was talking about as far as just said if you like trying to approach someone and try to like share your like the demons that you're battling, like just imagine a mirror is a person, and he was saying that how can you fix your face in a broken mirror?
Real,
And that's the thing, like all of us are broken. Like all of us have been through things. So I know as far as I feel like, in my opinion, it's two ways when somebody come to you and open up to you about the demons they're facing. Is either you let them know like, hey bro, hey sis, or whatever, these are the things that I'd have been through, and this how I overcame it, or I'm still trying to overcome that. Or, let them know like, hey man, like I can only imagine, the things that you're going through, but I can't, I can't, I can't fathom that. But I'm just here to be a ear to listen. See what I'm saying?
facts,
So
facts.
what they say, trust is hard to gain and easy to lose. So I just want to make sure that,
Real.
people, be conscious of that and take that into consideration. So so I
Real.
know so I want to ask you this, bro. So what you about to say something?
No, no, no.
Okay,
You good?
okay. I want to ask you this, like what you feel like your purpose is. I kind of already know what you're going to say, but what you feel like your purpose is.
Oh man, that's a great question, man. And I think that's a question that we kind of spend our entire lives trying to answer, right?
Facts.
But in one short synopsis, just to serve, man. Like that's
Right.
what I feel like God's kind of called on my life to do, man. Is just to serve in any capacity, uh, no matter what it is, man. Just to tell this story, and again, I try to tell my boys all the time, man. Like learning from a mistake is great.
Right.
You want to be able to learn from that mistake, but man, I want to spend the rest of my life teaching from every mistake I've made on the field, off the field, things of that nature, man. Getting this next generation around people like yourself, man. People
Right.
that have left sports and transferred over into the business aspect of things, man.
Yeah.
People that recognize that, yeah, Rodney Cooper is a heck of a basketball player, but
Mhm.
that's only one facet of who he is as a person, man. His ability to speak with other people, to ask stimulating questions, things of that nature.
Right.
You're bigger than basketball. You're also a bucket. Don't get me
Right. Yeah.
wrong,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but you're more than just a bucket. So that's my hope and prayer, man. Just to continue to be
Yeah.
a servant.
Right. Gotcha. I like it. I love it. But I know as far as with me, man, I was just talking about this as far as like my motivation is that when somebody asks me like, hey man, what you do? Like, what do you do? I don't want to just say, oh, I just hoop and that's it. I want to say,
Thanks.
hey, I was a basketball player. Hey, I have a nonprofit. Hey, I have a charity that I donate to every year. Hey, I have this
Ooh,
business that's serving people in many different ways. I want to be, multifaceted as far as, talk about all these different things I'm doing to add value to the world and not just, oh, I play football or I play football or I play basketball. I want to show them that
dude,
it's a lot more to me than just a sport. Which is nothing wrong with
that's
that, but
real.
if you're using that sport to, impact people in a different way than just like what you do on the field, on the court, or whatever. I think that's really the thing because I know as far as with me, I feel like my purpose is I don't know like what that looks like yet, and like you said, we go to the rest of our lives trying to figure out what that is. But I know it's the inspire people and encourage people to see the best version of themselves. And how I
Real.
know that is because I constantly say it and I don't know why I'm saying it, and it just come out so
That's
fluid,
God.
and
That's
I don't know
God.
why I'm saying it. But at the end, I feel like at some point it's gonna click and it's gonna make sense. But like you said, I'm still searching for that. So
Right.
let's switch gears a little bit. So what advice would you give to a kid that's playing football that wants to play at the collegiate level and beyond that?
Man, I would just say control what you can control, man.
Right,
A lot of the kids that I train, they get caught up in the recruiting world, but at the end of the day, man, if you make plays with today's technology, they're gonna find you. It don't
facts.
matter where you, they're gonna
Right,
they're gonna find you wherever it is. So just control what you can control and trust that systems are being put into place so that people from smaller towns, smaller areas
mm,
can find a way to these big time programs. Like,
right.
man, I tell people this all the time, man. A lot of people don't know where Russell County is. Coop, the fact
Yeah,
that you came out of where you came from,
yeah,
bro, that's big time,
yeah,
dog.
yeah.
Like, this is before Instagram, Huddle,
Facts. Yeah.
all these new. Coach Grant had to do
Hers
some. Him and Petway had to do some real work.
Hurstboro, bro. Hurstboro, they have no. It's crazy because the thing is,
Come on,
like, they came to the crib. Like, they came to the crib. Like, they
right,
came and sat down with the family, ate and stuff like
right,
that. But like I tell, like that's another thing that I feel like is a part of my purpose too, as far as like seeing these kids like that don't have the resources. Like, I tell
real,
them like, hey, like I'm gonna show empathy, but at the end of the day, we're not gonna use that as an excuse because I did it and you could
right,
do it too. You just
right.
gotta put yourself in
Possible.
position and you gotta go out there and get that exposure because me and you both know exposure leads to expansion. So you gotta make sure you put
Exactly.
yourself in an environment around guys that's just as talented as you or even better, so that you could constantly be growing and put them around like trainers like yourself to get them right. So
Uh,
so I know as far as with your training business, bro, you have it's called the lab. So I was doing a little research on it. It's dope, bro, as far as what you're doing, man. I'm seeing you, praying with the kids, before y'all work out. And also what you're doing, I see the results. Like a lot of these kids like going to, Division 1 school. So like I tell parents, man, when you want your kid to get to that level, make sure you surround them around, trainers that have done it, have been at that level, or they have the results in the resume as far as putting their kids, at these schools that your kids trying to strive to get to. So talk a little bit about
right.
that as far as like, why you started it and what you're doing with it.
Man, so when I came up with the decision to start the lab, I was just sitting back and I was like, man, I've got a repository of knowledge of the game of football
Right.
that's bestowed upon me by some really good coaches. Coaches, obviously Coach Saban being one of them, but like Coach Loxley that's at Maryland now, Coach Sarkeesian that's the head coach over at Texas now,
Hmm.
Coach Grant being my goddad. I wasn't that good at basketball relatively,
I did
but
not know
just
that, but okay.
yeah,
yeah,
that, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that's pops, man.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
pops.
yeah,
I was just talking to AJ a couple of days ago, man. But
yeah.
there was no such thing as trainers when we came out.
Facts.
It was you had to get it out the mud, man. I think the only trainer that was in Tuscaloosa was Demario Pippen, and he was a guy that went to Central Tuscaloosa, ended up playing the NFL for a little while,
Yeah.
and he came back to Tuscaloosa and he was training the next generation of kids, and just not having a trainer, I knew that there was a significant void in our community for it. And like you said, not only having a trainer, but having a qualified trainer that had been
Right.
there before. So that was what it was for me, man. We didn't. I had a track coach, maybe my freshman and sophomore year, and then he ended up stepping away my junior and senior seasons. So just not having not having that private training and honestly just not being able to afford it, even if it was available.
Right. Yeah.
It was just important for me to make the most affordable training regimen possible for everyone in the city and eventually the state, and plan to take it nationally and internationally. Um,
Dope.
but just filling that void, man, being what we needed growing up.
Right. Facts. Because it's crazy. So I highly suggest parents and kids to definitely reach out to Donnie because, like I was talking about, as far as like on the other episodes, as far as like me growing up, like I wish I had a me growing up, as far as somebody that then been in a position that where I'm trying to get to. Like, yeah, I had people in my life, but they encouraged me, telling me to keep going and stuff like that. But they never really, like, the ones I was talking to, they didn't accomplish the things that what I was trying to get to. So you didn't play
Right.
at all the levels. You didn't seen everything. And then on top of that, you have the resources too, which is very important. So me and you both know,
Right.
as far as in the business world, it's all about the relationships. So
You feel
so
me?
I mean, so I definitely highly encourage parents to reach out with you as far as the training business. So you can definitely go on his Instagram page and see what they're doing too with that. It's pretty dope. And so also you have a marketing firm too. I see you a jack of all trades. You out here hustling.
I try to wear
Yeah.
multiple hats, man. I try to wear multiple
Okay. Jeff Bezos Jr. I got you. So
hats.
so you got your marketing firm. It's called The Athletes Inc. So talk about
Yes,
as
sir.
far as why you started that and what services you provide with that.
For sure, for sure. So the Athletes Inc., man, I think there's a lot of power in the name, right? So
Mm-hmm.
exactly how it reads, man, it's the athlete's business. So I think one thing that Coach Saban did an excellent job of while I was in school was, man, just preparing us as businessmen and preparing us for the next stage, right? Like
Right.
he had guys come in played in the NFL, that had lost a lot of money through whether it was poor investments or trusting the wrong people. He
Right.
had guys like that come back and speak to us, and
The
that
information.
helps significantly, right? Like
Yeah.
just putting you on game. Same thing we
Right.
talked about with
Right.
sports and how, all right, this guy, you have people around you that are giving you good advice, but they
Yeah.
haven't been there yet.
Right.
So being able to hear that from someone that had been there before and
Mhm.
made some mistakes, and again learned from those mistakes and was teaching
Right.
from those mistakes. So the Athletes Inc. is our marketing firm with the NIL coming up, the name, image, and likeness legislation. The state of Alabama is set to pass it July the 1st. I had the opportunity to meet with State Representative Kyle South at
Dope.
8A last weekend, and he told me a little bit about it's called House Bill 404. And
Yeah.
so essentially, man, for the first time in college sports history, excuse me, athletes will be able to monetize their name, image, and likeness.
Mm.
So that 21 jersey that they're selling at the soup store, man, we
Facts.
finally
Yeah.
get a cut, right? And so something that was really important to me was, I wanted to be able to represent guys that I knew on a personal level, man, and
Right.
I'd been in their shoes. So yeah, man, I'm really excited about that. I'm obviously glad about the lab and the brick and mortar we've been able to get, but I think that'll kind of serve as like an organic funnel to bring us we'll end up representing a lot of the kids that we trained in their youth, and
Right.
that'll allow us to have a dynamic that's based off of longevity and a
Facts.
legitimate relationship, not strictly business.
Yeah.
And so I think that'll allow us to look out for the best interest of the athlete for sure.
That's so dope, bro. Because the thing is, like, not only are you training and teaching them as far as in the sport aspect, you also preparing them as far as on the business side too. And it's not
Right.
like just somebody that's just coming along the way, like they're at the highs of highs, and you see the opportunity. You just trying to make that partnership, like you're working with them from high school, middle school, whatever, up until if they make it, had the opportunity to play professional football. So
But
whatever sport. So that's dope that you're doing that, and then definitely having guys come back and talk about the experiences they had as far as money they lost in poor investments. Because the thing is, the thing that we're missing is the information. So we can hear
feel me?
like the experience from other people, the information. And like they say, a smart man learn from their own mistakes. A wise man learn from mistakes of others. So I think that's
Exactly.
dope that you're packaging those two things together as far as with your training business and with your marketing firm. So that's definitely dope. So as far as just say if you have a parent or a kid that wants to reach out to you and your team as far as for you guys to train them, or if they want to work with your marketing firm as far as with the service you provide with that, like where can they reach you at?
For sure. So, man, we do everything social media, right? We're
Yeah.
dealing with millennials mostly.
Right.
So
Facts.
essentially everybody's on
You got
social
it. You got a
media.
TikTok?
We have a TikTok, but I don't run the TikTok, so
Okay.
I'm trying to step away from social media personally. But
Yeah.
we have a team, they're fully responsive. So you could just follow the Lab USA or
Okay.
follow the Athletes Inc. Shoot them a message. We'll get you going ASAP, man. But random thought, man. I was thinking about the book that you posted, The Psychology of Money,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
man, how timely that is and how relevant that is for athletes, man, because
Mm.
it talks about a lot of the ideology that we have and the negative connotations that we have about money,
Money. Right.
uh, while we're kind of afraid to have conversations about that. Like,
Yeah.
man, growing up in my household, kids didn't get to take part in money
Right.
conversations,
Right.
grown folks' business, right?
I mean, they
And
ain't
then
even talk about it either for real. So
they ain't even talking about it either,
right, right,
especially not in front of us. They're like,
right,
like my dad was the king of I'll figure it out. And
right.
man, kudos to Pops because he always figured out. Him and Mom, they always
Facts.
found a way.
Mm.
But just trying to make sure that this next generation is empowered with financial literacy as much as possible, because I
Right,
think when we kind of run away from that conversation, that's when you have a demographic of people that are extremely financially literate. And like you said, man,
right,
that knowledge is power.
right.
So man, when I seen you post that, I was like,
Yeah,
"Shit, because
yeah,
getting
yeah,
that knowledge."
yeah. Right,
Yeah,
right.
and the 50 of law is hard too. It's hard
Yeah,
too.
so I haven't started like none of the books yet, but I'm definitely gonna start this week. But I said, dang, he'd have read all three of these books out in the posted. So I'm like, that's dope. That's why I love to see, man, guys like trying to self educate themselves, because the thing is like yeah, you learn things in college and stuff like that, but like me and you both know, like these guys then put their entire biography like in these books. And it's
Right.
like the information is right there. Like all you have to do to go to Barnes and Nobles and spend $20-$25 on a book,
They giving you the game.
and they give you the game. Like all you have to do is
Right.
apply it, and then the next step is applying it. Because thinking once you apply it and you see like, okay, like just continues to taking those next steps and trusting the process, like we talk about. Because
Right.
once you learn money and once you learn how to have money working for you, like it's really not that difficult. The thing is, like you just gotta
Right.
get the information, and I
Facts.
mean it's right there. All you have to do is go to Barnes and Noble or Amazon. Amazon
For
got it.
sure.
So yeah,
They all right at the touch of a button, man. Go
right.
get you some power.
Facts for sure. So give the people, man, your social media handles as far as your personal social media handles so that they can continue to follow your journey.
For sure, for sure. So my personal social media is at Donnie Lee Jr. On Instagram. It's Donnie Lee Jr. 85 on Twitter. And again, the lab's Instagram is the Lab USA. And the marketing firm, the Athletes Inc., is at the Athletes Inc. Man, so hit us up, man, anytime. We got a full team over there, full social media team. They'll get back to you guys. If you're trying
Dope,
to get some work in, just let us know. We'll get right.
dope, bro. So this is another episode of Locker Room Talk with Coop. Man, make sure you guys like, comment, share, and make sure that you guys hit that red button or those red letters on the side that say subscribe for your boy. And Donnie, man, I appreciate you for coming on.
Man, I appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir.